Hey, good afternoon, David and Century 21 Professional Group. I am so excited that you guys decided to do the market absorption rate worksheet at your afternoon session. So this is just a quick how-to video in case somebody couldn't make the session or if you need a little extra information. So you'll be logging into your 21 online account. You will click on Working with Clients. You want to select Working with Sellers. And then the documents you're looking for are housed under Marketing a Property. Once you get there, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the screen and you'll find I have two different versions of the absorption rate worksheet. One is called the snapshot. That's a real quick, easy worksheet to put together. The other one, the absorption rate worksheet, is a little bit more information, but can be dynamite for working with your buyers or sellers in the market. Also, if you need an explanation of what the absorption rate is and how it's calculated so that you can have a talk track with your clients, you can open up this Word document and print that out. So let's take a look. Let's start with the absorption rate snapshot. So I'm going to open this up. It's an Excel spreadsheet. I have already added all the formulas to automatically calculate. All right, so here we are. So you can insert your own Century 21 logo, but if you like, you can use the Smarter, Bolder, Faster one that I've already added. What I definitely recommend you do is to fill out this top. So insert your area. So for demo purposes today, I'm just going to say Brighton, Michigan. That's my hometown. It's a good idea to put the time period that you're preparing the report for because this may have shelf life with your client, and you want to make sure that if they're looking at it, they understand that this was information that was relevant during this specific month and year. So let's say this is for September of 2016. And then always get your own name in there. All right. Now this is where the work comes in. So I would recommend that you do this particular worksheet once a month for your market. What you want to do is go into your MLS first. Now sometimes your MLS will be able to provide you with this information. Other times you've got to do it yourself. So the first thing is when you're in the MLS, we want to find out how many active listings do we currently have in each one of these price ranges for the market that you're measuring. If I can offer some suggestion, don't make the market area so small that you can't get good relevant information. Really what you're trying to do is give an idea of what the market's doing for your buyer or seller. So don't go down to like a specific subdivision. There probably won't be enough data to make this report meaningful. Typically what I do is I'll either choose 3 or 4 cities that my clients typically would tap into. Like if I had a seller in Brighton, Michigan, a lot of times the buyers are considering Brighton, Howell, Heartland, and South Lyon. So I may want to include all 4 of those cities in this worksheet. Other times you may even want to do it on a county-wide level. So just be real cautious as to how you choose your area. So in the MLS, I would look for, let's say, Livingston County, and I would put in the price range of $25,000 to $50,000, and I would find out how many active listings there are. So I'm just going to put down 4. Then I would keep going up. So the next category is $50,000 to $75,000. Maybe in that same, in that same market, I might have, let's say, 7 listings that are currently active, and then the next $75,000 to $100,000. Perhaps now the number's climbing a little. Maybe I have 8. Maybe we see a big jump here to 12 for the $100,000 to $125,000. So you get the idea that you're going through and you're inputting these numbers, and what they're going to do is show us some really good results here. So let me just finish putting some more numbers in as we go through. And I'll stop right there. Next on the MLS, you go back, you use that same geographic area that you identified, and you're going to use the same price ranges, but now we want to see how many listings sold just within the past 30 days. So if I'm preparing this report for September, I'm going to look from September 1st to September 30th. Now, you can decide, do you want to put pendings in as sold? If you know that most times pendings do make it to the closing table in your neck of the woods, then absolutely I would include them. If you have a high fallout rate for your market, then perhaps you don't want to include the pendings as a solid sold. So let's say in this area I have 3 listings that have sold in that particular price range, and then the next one had all 7, and the next one had 7 and maybe 10 and 14. So again, I'm getting all this data from the MLS, and I'm just inputting it into here. I'm going to fill this up just a little bit more here before I take a break. Okay, now what's happening is over here in the far right hand corner, it's automatically calculating how many months of inventory that you have in that particular price range. So now this is where the talk track gets really good. Let me scroll down a little. You're going to see a few rules of thumb down at the bottom of this worksheet. The rule of thumb is that 4 seems to be an average market. If homes are on the, if we have enough inventory that it would take 4 months for us to sell everything that's already on the market with no new listings coming in, that's a pretty stable market. If it's greater than 4, then what you might recommend to your seller is that they could certainly price towards the lower end of the recommended range that you're going to give them based on your market analysis. So if the range is, you think that this home could sell for, let's take this category right here, the $75,000 to $100,000 range, and you have a house that falls into that range, you notice that the months of inventory is very little, just over 1 month of inventory. So if I went down to my rules of thumb here, if it's less than 4, then you want to price the home more liberally. So if my recommendation was between 75 to 85, I would actually counsel my seller that let's list towards the 85,000 because there's not a lot of inventory. That will mean that there might be several buyers bidding for this particular home, so we stand a better chance of getting a higher price. But now if the reverse was true, let's go down here where we had 25 listings available in the 225,000 to 250,000 range, but only 4 sold last month. That means it would take a little over 6 months for us to finally get all of the current inventory sold if we kept progressing at the same pace that we did the previous month. So if it's 6 months, I might say if their price range based on my market analysis research showed their home was going to likely sell between 235 and 250, I might say let's go slightly towards maybe 240 because not a lot of homes are moving in this price range. So if it's critical for you to get your home sold in a timely manner, this would be the strategy that we'd want to put into place. So that's how you do it, and I know that you're going to be able to watch a much longer version of my webinar that actually includes more numbers than just the absorption rate. It's going to have a few more key numbers that are important to bring to a listing presentation. So if you have any questions, just funnel them up to David, and if he can't answer them, he can feel free to get in touch with me and we'll get your questions answered. So thanks for joining me this afternoon, and I hope you had a great session on the absorption rate. See you guys soon.